Hello everybody, welcome back. We're going to continue our story we started yesterday, Sylvester in the Magic Pebble. You can see I have sister with me again today. She's still taking a nap. She really likes that spot, so she's going to hang out with us again. All right, so yesterday we met Sylvester, who was a donkey, and he found a magic pebble. But unfortunately he came across a lion and got really scared and turned himself into a rock. Then we met Mr. and Mrs. Duncan, who searched for their son Sylvester for a long time but could never find him. And we read that they were very heartbroken about that too, right? So we're going to continue on, see if maybe they do all become reunited again in our story. As we read, be thinking about how you might feel if you were Mr. Duncan, Mrs. Duncan, or Sylvester in the story. All right. Night followed day, and day followed night, over and over again. Sylvester on the hill woke up less and less often. When he was awake, he was only hopeless and unhappy. He felt he would be a rock forever, and he tried to get used to it. He went into an endless sleep. The days grew colder. Fall came with the leaves changing color. Then the leaves fell, and the grass bent to the ground. Then it was winter. The winds blew this way and that. It snowed. Mostly the animals stayed indoors, living on the food they had stored up. One day a wolf came and sat on the rock that was Sylvester and howled because he was hungry. Then the snows melted, the earth warmed up in the spring sun, and things budded. Leaves were on the trees again, flowers showed their young faces. Looks like a lot of time has passed that Sylvester has been a rock. One day in May, Mr. Duncan insisted that his wife go with him on a picnic. "Let's cheer up," he said. "Let us try to live again and be happy, even though Sylvester, our angel, is no longer with us." They went to Strawberry Hill. Mrs. Duncan sat down on the rock. The warmth of his own mother sitting on him woke Sylvester up from his deep winter sleep. How he wanted to shout, "Mother! Father! It's me, Sylvester! I'm right here!" But he couldn't talk. He had no voice. He was stone dumb. Mr. Duncan walked aimlessly about while Mrs. Duncan set out the picnic. Food on the rock, alfalfa sandwiches, pickled oats, sassafras salad, timothy compote. Suddenly Mr. Duncan saw the red pebble. "What a fantastic pebble!" he exclaimed. Sylvester would have loved it for his collection. He put the pebble on the rock. They sat down to eat. Sylvester was now as wide awake as a donkey that was a rock could possibly be. Mrs. Duncan felt some mysterious excitement. "You know, Father," she said suddenly, "I have the strangest feeling that our dear Sylvester is still alive and not far away." I am, Sylvester wanted to shout, but he couldn't. If only he had realized that the pebble resting on his back was the magic pebble. I wonder what's going to happen. We have the magic red pebble right on Sylvester. "Oh, how I wish he were here with us on this lovely May day," said Mrs. Duncan. Mr. Duncan looked sadly at the ground. "Don't you wish it too, Father?" she said. He looked at her as if to say, "How can you ask such a question?" Mr. and Mrs. Duncan looked at each other with great sorrow. "I wish I were myself again. I wish I were my real self again," thought Sylvester, and in less than an instant he was. You can imagine the scene that followed: the embraces, the kisses, the questions, the answers, the loving looks, and the fond exclamations. Wow, if I were any of these characters right now, I think I would feel really happy. And if I look at the picture, it looks like they're feeling pretty happy too, right? Mr. Duncan looks like he's dancing, they're hugging, the sun is shining nice and bright. Makes me feel happy too. When they had eventually calmed down a bit and had gotten home, Mr. Duncan put the magic pebble in an iron safe. Someday they might want to use it, but really, for now, what more could they wish for? They had all that they wanted. The end. Wow, so in the end, the family was really happy to be together again, right? And I know if I were separated from my family, I would be really happy once I was reunited too. In fact, they were so happy that they felt that they didn't even need that magic pebble anymore and they put it away. They felt that they had everything they needed with them right there with their family. You know, sometimes authors like to write stories to teach us lessons and get us thinking about what we could learn from the story, right? Maybe you guys could tell me what lesson you think the author was trying to tell us in Sylvester and the Magic Pebble. You guys can leave your answers in the comments on Class Tag, all right? And I will see everybody back on Thursday for our next Read Aloud. We're going to take a break tomorrow from Read Aloud so we can do our show and share. Remember, if you want to join that show and share, make sure you comment in Class Tag, all right? I'll see you guys tomorrow, and if not, I'll see you on Thursday. Bye.